Dabi and Hawks walked into the alleys, seeing the rest of the League of Villains laying on the ground. To be seeing all of the League beaten unconscious like this, not even all the pro heroes could pull this off. Dabi knelt by Twice and Toga. The both of them had been his friends, but who could use their quirk to this limit in a short time? Hawks was looking around the alley, trying to find a lead or anything, then seeing the black threads on the bodies. Just touching the thread cut his finger. As a drop of his blood dripped onto the ground, a shadow tree began to grow. Having an idea now about who did this, Hawks was on his feet again, then noticed Dabi beside him. "I think you know who did this, Dabi." "Our little brother is brutal now. That's usually us, Hawks." "I know, Dabi, except he would never take a life." Your mind was a blank the whole time as you overlooked the city from where you had been standing on the corner of the tallest building in the city. The shadows from your shadow quirk had taken their own forms and turned the city into a hunting ground. The vines on your cheeks had turned black and your eyes had turned into red cat eyes. Seeing many heroes try to kill the shadows was amusing, but they would lose. On your belt was a bear that Dabi and Hawks had made for you back then. Half was like Dabi and the other half was like Hawks. The person that had it like a trophy was the boss of the suits that had separated you from your brothers. Even though the man was dead, you were still mad because you couldn't find Dabi and Hawks anymore. Without even thinking of your actions, you used the full extent of your plant manipulation quirk, covering the building in thorns and crushing it to pieces. When you were angered or sad, your quirks had no limits and your power increased 10 times the normal. Now you were standing on top of shadow and rubble that was once a building and now just rocks. The sound of a building being crushed like a car was a sound that Hawks could not miss. He was more than sure whose quirk was powerful enough to do that. Running on the rooftops of the buildings, even Hawks knew better than to fly, and Dabi knew that he could use his flames. Their little brother could just throw their power back at them with more force, and so Dabi and Hawks had to improvise. "Honestly, Dabi, do you think this will work?" Standing on the sidewalk, seeing you sitting in the middle of the park now, playing with the bear, even Dabi could still see your first smile from back then, and he was willing to chance the plan with no fear. Walking over to you slowly, Dabi then sat a few inches from you as Hawks stayed in the trees. "It's dangerous to be alone. Where's your family?" "I don't know. I can't find Dabi. And even though Dabi and Hawks were 3 years older than you, and even though it had been years, just seeing Dabi you knew it was him. Only Dabi would say it was still dangerous for you to be alone." Closing your eyes, shifting your human senses to a wolf and a tiger at the same time so you could see if Dabi was really in front of you to be sure. Smiling, seeing how cautious you were, made Dabi laugh a little on the inside as he held his hand out to you. Just knowing how cautious and how you kept your guard up made Hawks and Dabi see how much you had grown. After a few minutes, you then let Dabi hold you, almost clawing at his back, making sure that Dabi would never leave. Slowly, the vines on your cheeks turned back to green in your eyes as you calmed down more. Now it was Hawks' turn to see you. Slowly, Hawks walked over to you, then stopped, holding out his red feather from his wing. Reaching out to Hawks as he stood in front of you, slowly you remembered it was Hawks who taught you how to fly when you were small. As you held the feather in your hand, you looked at Hawks. As he smiled at you and very slowly you ate the feather. "Hawks, Dabi. For the first time in a long time, the three of you were together again, like before. Hawks and Dabi never cried. Only when you were with them they could actually show emotion. Being held by both your older brothers made you feel warm. The both of them were brutal, but they loved you very much. Without knowing it, you had fallen asleep. The shadows had also disappeared since they had their fill of bloodshed. At the last second, both Dabi and Hawks say that your black clothes had belonged to them at some point. Having a peace of mind now, Hawks and Dabi knew that you never forgot them. This whole time the three of you had been looking for each other. Now Dabi and Hawks could keep you safe. One thing they didn't count on was who would sleep by you so that they knew you were safe at night.